Alrighty, so we've had some new character weapons released. We've also had a brand new weapon release for the official launch of Global. I think, yeah, this is the first ever new weapon that we've had that has been now globally released in terms of when the game went global. Because of course the Moon Shadow Dagger weapons, they've been out when it was soft launch, during the soft launch, should I say. So we got to update the weapon tier listed layout a bit, change it up just a tad bit. You guys know the drill. So first things first, let's kind of rearrange a few things, because I'm going to move these down to B. I am moving the light spear weapon to B. This weapon has been my saving grace on my free-to-play account. I adore this weapon so much. I've been getting, well, my luck on my free-to-play account is down bad. I mean, I've still got my Cheyenne and Jiwoo holding it down, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be getting Elysium on my free-to-play account, so that kind of sucks. My luck is horrible, but either way, this weapon really did get me through some of the tough fights, especially with the amount of it kind of reminds me of like that character from Fate, where he could just spawn in a weapon. If you've seen the anime, you know what I'm on about. That's what it kind of reminds me of. But either way, I'm pushing that up to B, and I think for the most part, this is kind of where I'm going to leave things. Oh no, I'm pushing the Huntsman down to S. I'm putting this bad boy up to A, and right, I'm just gonna do this for the sake of doing it. So I'm putting Vulcan's Rage in A. I know it's been buffed. I will be doing my testing. I need to level. I just need to level the weapon up till level 18 minimum for me to kind of go about and test things out. If it is well enough to be up in S rank within that video that I do when I'm testing out Vulcan's Rage, I will put it up gladly. It's just right now I'm focusing on Choi, so I haven't really figured out or tested out this weapon at all. So just had to update it and put it down to A where it belongs. Maybe the buff has made it so it goes to S. I'll find out once I level up and we get there. All right, in due time, in due time. But I think for the most part, this is kind of where I'm leaving it. I should also mention, when it comes to the designated SS weapons, I have put it in order in terms of, you know, best to worst, I guess you want to put it like that. So that's why I've got the other three weapons that are not in there to kind of place them in there. So we'll start things off with the character weapons. So to be fair, Beast, I'm surprised I didn't put his weapon in the previous tier list. So yeah, but I'm going to be putting in one behind Choi. And then I mean, to be fair, it's going to be fairly simple. Cheyenne is going to be the number one spot, and then Alicia will be second place, purely because, of course, that core damage buff you want. If you can cater to it, you know, you want to kind of push towards that. So yeah, I think we will leave it as that. I think this is kind of where I would kind of rank them each. So I am happy with that. Now it's time for the main event, the main attraction, the Scatty Pistol. Now, I have been using it a little bit, right? So of course I do have access to the weapon. I've got a single copy of it, so that way I'm using the domain expansion. Now unfortunately I don't have a max version of it. I have seen gameplay of the max version of it, hence why I'm here doing the tier list video now, since I feel comfortable on where I want to place this weapon and where I deem it fit to be. Now obviously with the Scatty Pistol, it is going to be having a head-to-head collision between the two, being the Grimoire, because at the end of the day, if we have a better water weapon, we're just going to cater to that weapon, right? If for whatever reason we get a weapon that within the weapon or within the typing, should I say, is coming out hot, then we want to cater more to that. For example, with the Moon, the Moon Shadow Dagger weapons, of course, in my opinion, that paired up with the Katana is a better combo with the Scythe than the Katana with the Scythe. That's just a personal preference from what I've seen in terms of the Moon Shadow Dagger weapons being maxed out. Just want to preference that. So when it comes to the Scatty Pistol and the Grimoire, then both being water typing, I mean, as a combination between the two, fantastic. If you want to utilize those two together to get maximizing your water damage, then you can do so. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing, especially when I'm trying to get my gems up. I'm pretty sure you guys are seeing gameplay right now. It's working absolute wonders and it's getting the job done, especially when it comes to also piling on the water units. The water typings are looking very, very good right now, all across the board, so that's fantastic to see. Look, the weapon does hold a decent amount of power, I will say. The most that I've managed to obtain so far from the Scatty Pistol with how I've been building it up is like 500,000, which isn't too bad. I know I can get more out of it. I've got 1 dupe on it, but it is doing a decent amount of damage. I will give it that. Obviously with the first, well, not with the first dupe, but with the initial copy of the weapon, you know, when the blessing is in place, you are getting that 3% attack as well as the 3% defense penetration. And then on top of that, if you do apply the last hunt, which is snapping your finger and freezing the enemy, of course, you are then able to deal that extra 100% damage of my attack, aka if I have, let's say, 17.5k damage, or attack should I say, which is what I do have on my Jinwoo, then that's the amount that I will be dealing, right? So the more attack that I've got on my Jinwoo, the more, well, then I will basically transfer that over into damage. So if I had 20k attack, that's 20k damage going towards the enemy, and that's just straight off the initial passive of the weapon itself. It's just nice additional damage at the end of the day. That's what it is, of course. Now, furthermore, getting into the A1, which is what I've got, of course, it's kind of giving me the extra 10% water damage because, of course, of the domain. I mean, it's not too bad, you know. Creates a domain, allows you to do more damage. Can't go wrong with that. When I am inside of the circle, you know, 50% of my attack is being dealt. So, just to give it in an easy format, 20k attack, 10k damage, right? So, again, not too bad. A3 is pretty much where I would like it to be, so that way I can get that permanent 12% attack and 12% defense penetration. And then A5, it's just giving you the extra 400%. So obviously with the initial passive, if you've got, you know, 15k, well, if you've got 20k attack, that will then correlate into 20k damage towards the enemy, right? With just the base of the weapon itself, and then basically the A5 will times it by 5, making it so that you'll now do 100k. So again, it is scaling off from the user's attack stat, so the higher that you can get it at, then the more damage equal that you'll be able to do through the last hunt. So that's pretty much the well, the whole basis of how this weapon is working. Not a bad weapon, but as I stated within the gameplay video that I did for this pistol, I still prefer the Grimoire. The Grimoire just, it has that better range. You've got the bubbles that can do more damage as the enemies are progressing towards you. It's more versatile into setting up bursts. Yeah, and combination wise, I do find it so that the Grimoire is more universally friendly with everything to anything in terms of combination with other weapons than with the Scatty Pistol. But to be fair, the Scatty Pistol itself, again, it's a fantastic damage dealer for the water attribute, which is exactly what we needed and wanted, and we got that. It's freezing, it's giving us that additional damage going off, so the weapon itself is still really good. In terms of also, like I mentioned, in combination with the Grimoire really supporting the water attribute, it's exactly what we needed. But if we're really, because at the end of the day, here's the thing, it's in a custom draw banner, and realistically you want to cater to weapons and characters that you know that are really going to be helping you out in terms of the more difficult content. And so with a new weapon coming about, it really comes down to whether or not if the initial weapon is worth pulling to then going into the duping side of things. But if there is a weapon that's already been in the game from the very beginning that is a lot better and that you can furthermore cater to and potentially dupe out, or maybe you've got initial dupes going on and you want to continuously dupe it out, not have to focus on the newer weapon, then obviously you're going to have to look into that. And so from that, I will say that the Scatty Pistol is a solid S rank. That is where I am going to be leaving this weapon. That is where I genuinely feel like it deserves to be. I don't think, even with a maxed out A5, I do not consider it to be SS worthy on the same line as the Grimoire. I genuinely think S rank is where I've deemed it fit. From the experience that I have had it at A1 to what I've seen and what it's capable of doing at A5, it's a good weapon. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it's terrible. It's actually really freaking good, and that's why if you do manage to pull it and you're lacking in water attributes weapons, or you have the Grimoire and you manage to pull it, then you are maximizing your water damage. It is an amazing weapon. As time goes on, I pull dupes, happy days, it's allowing me to do more damage. Like I said, I would love to get this weapon to A3 so I can get that permanent 12% attack and defense penetration. That will be absolutely wonderful. So yeah, that is my final thoughts on everything about this new weapon. It's a good solid weapon. I would say that if you have the Grimoire, you are a-okay.